Alright, so we've just had the Würth 400 laps around the Monster Mile at Dover. A track which I first came across during the pandemic, I believe, when I, for some reason, decided to do an IndyCar race at night there. I think I got Dover and Bristol confused. To be fair, as a Brit, just hearing British names used in America, it gets confusing. But anyways, let's get on with talking about the race. And, well, it was another win for Denny Hamlin, wasn't it? Third win of the season. Kyle Larson chases him down the end. But, as they said in the commentary at the end of the first stage, that Toyota can hold on over the longer runs. And you saw it because Larson was giving it everything. You could see him taking the higher lines. He was reeling Hamlin in. Hamlin was keeping it low. He was holding on to it. He probably had a little bit in reserve if he needed to, but he didn't need to use it. I heard Eric Eastep talking about it and saying, oh, maybe there's too much of a defensive bonus for these cars. Maybe. That could be the case in somewhere like a mile-long oval. But with NASCARs being so heavy and now so aerodynamic, it's very hard for them not to be, in my opinion. I mean, they've always been heavy, but now they are more aerodynamically dependent. The only way that you get rid of any of that kind of issue is by making the cars lighter and by making them smaller. And given the way the car market's going in the United States, I don't see either of those happening anytime soon. Third place is Martin Truex Jr. And I think, like I said, he won the first stage. Lots of people were hoping that him and his brother would sweep the weekend like they did last year, but wasn't to be. Maybe it was that front end damage from going into the back of, was it Bowman? I think it was Bowman he went into the back of and slightly dislodged the splitter from the rest of the front end, caving the nose a little bit. That could be enough to do it, especially, like I said, these cars are a bit more aero-dependent. The new Camry is supposed to be one of the best when it comes to aerodynamics. I think it's meant to be seen as the best out of the three. And then afterwards you had Kyle Busch, the pole man. It's good to see an RCR up towards the top. And, well, hopefully we'll see more of it. Especially since the top three, they were the people who've been pretty much winning everything this season. It was Hendrick and it was JGR. It's, yeah, no different when you get to fifth with Chase Elliott. Sixth was the highest Ford, Noah Gragson. And good job by him. Good job by Stuart Haas. I haven't heard many people saying this, but SHR were the best Ford team in that final result. Blaney, of course, had run all right. Finishes 7th. Led 47 laps. But it's good to see that, and hopefully it shows a bit more of a recovery for SHR. Bowman the Showman 8th. Didn't lead any laps, and given that he had picked up the mantle of Jimmy, just dominating at Dover, and ended up winning when he took over the 48, it was a shame that he didn't carry it on. Hemrick got 9th, led 5 laps on the day. That was a good job, and Gibbs rounds out the top 10. There are some other stories as well. I mean, the cautions that came out. I think the one that we can talk about is that one with which saw Bell, Byron and Wallace all taken out. All of them had been running all right. Byron had been leading 36 laps in that race. I don't think any of them expected, oh, that was a voice break, to have that issue. And yet again, it was, like last week, a bad push into Bubba Wallace that sent him around and took him and a couple of others out the race. I mean, what other stories are there to talk about? Corey Heim, decent debut, made it through to the end, especially since he was subbing in for Eric Jones. Jimmy Johnson, it was nice to see him at Dover. Of course, finished 5 laps down. It's a shame, but it is nice to see him there. It's nice to see the 84 car. It's nice to see Jimmy Johnson out on track. And I've heard some people speculated if Eric Jones' week-by-week thing means that he misses a couple more races, Jimmy Johnson could potentially drive the 43, and that would be nice. Although, I know people would have wanted it to be a Chevy 43 and not a Toyota. One of them cheap Toyotas. But, yeah. I think that would be nice. Especially if, for whatever reason, Jones can't make the throwback weekend to chuck Jimmy in the car. That would be awesome. But yeah, Ford. I mean, I barely talked about them, and that's kind of the problem. We're 11 races in. The regular season is 26 races, the 7500 being the cutoff race. It's going to be really difficult for them to pick back up the deficit they've got. This dark horse, well, they're going to hope it's going to show up as a dark horse later in the season. No Ford wins yet. So if you're a fan of the Blue Oval, you're still waiting a bit longer, I'm afraid. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.